I was thinking a few days ago about what would happen if I died. Shocking. All the people I loved went through my head and how their reaction would be towards me dying. I was already at the end of that chain of thought, and I was still feeling baffled. There was one person I was missing out, but sadly I knew who it was and my emotions were tackled. It was the person who cared for me the most, and the person who brought me this far. It was the most beautiful human being ever, my mom. It hit me so bad. How could I forget her like that? I started crying and I knew I would never forgive myself. So I decided to make a list of times she stood up for me and times I stood up for her. Times my mom stood up for me. Here we go. The first time I can remember is when my dad beat me up really bad because I didn't present myself well in front of his friends. I was bleeding from my legs and my head hurt so much I couldn't understand what was happening. So all I did was scream. So my mom ran towards me, worrying about my future self-esteem. She pushed me away and my dad hit her by mistake. It was a punch so hard, he took her to the doctor. And my foolish self standing alone, being mad at her for bringing me to see her friends. Then there was this one time that I would never forget, when I was 8 years old, and I wanted an iPod, because that was the coolest thing at the time. But my dad stubbornly wouldn't get me one, so my mom went from behind his back and worked as a secretary for almost a year, just to save money to get me that stupid iPod. Yet, I was still mad at her that it wasn't the version I wanted. Another time, when I got a bad grade on my report when I was 9, my dad obviously beat me again and verbally abused me, saying I'm stupid and I'll grow up to be a street sweeper. Then my mom took me into her arms, saying that I'm the smartest boy and she's ever met, and one day I'll be successful. Yet I ignored her and shouted at her, saying get out of my room. Then I was 11. My best friend passed away. My dad couldn't have cared less and told me to be a man. Then my mom came and raised her voice at him, saying that he isn't a good father and he should leave. And he did, which led me to list all of the times I stood up for my mom. I could barely recall any moment where I stood up for her, because I'm a coward. And she yelled at him. He threatened her, saying he'll beat her if she didn't be quiet, but she insisted on continuing while I stood there too busy comprehending everything. He came up to us, pushed me on the wall, and then started pulling her hair. The sounds that I heard all that day, the crying, the sobbing, the shouting for mercy, yet I stood like a bitch doing nothing, while he left bruises on her sacred body. But I could only remember one time where I stood up for my mom, which was when I became older. My dad called her on the phone, cussing her. While she was crying in the middle of the night, I woke up trying to hear the noise. So I entered the room, took the phone and started yelling at my dad, telling him things I've never did before, and hugged my mom and told her not to worry about anything and I'll be by her side, which was a false statement. Then instantly I started remembering the nights when I was a kid and my mom would wake me up to the shouting of my dad and asking me for help, yet I would wake up, look at her eyes filled with tears, and her hair messed up and kinky, then not move. She would continue tugging me, then I would wake up and lock the door so my dad couldn't enter in the room while both of us were there. Yet he broke the door down and I decided to do something useful for my mom and I took a hit for her. Then I did. I won't continue about this because I'll probably have a breakdown later on. I just wanted to tell all of you, no matter how many girlfriends, boyfriends, wives, husbands you have, they won't love you as much as your mom did. There's nothing more powerful in this world than a mother's eternal love for her child. Nothing can compare to it. So I would like to dedicate this poem to the beautiful lady who kept up with my bullshit. And I want to tell her from deep down in my heart, thank you for all the things you did, all the sacrifices and the punches you took for me. I'm really sorry. I love you, Mom. Next time I think about you before attempting suicide, I'll end this poem here because I'm crying. Goodbye.